afternoon, everyone. I think it was a wonderful um, uh, presentation, by Rajiv earlier than me. And I say good afternoon, everyone, again. I think we had a sumptuous lunch, any which way. Okay. But the excitement continues, and it has been definitely an honor, to be here on this particular platform and, hearing to the leaders since morning. Um, the speakers have given a great insights in terms of, where we are leading towards to. And as everyone has said, this is the time, and I'm actually really very excited about this particular um, engagement, which we have been doing it for last year and a half now. So as I stand here and represent Wipro, I would like you to first let you know, little about what Wipro is. Wipro Limited is a leading global information technology consulting business process and services company. We have over 175,000 employees serving our clients across 6 continents. Wipro lives by its values, and it is driven by what is known as spirit of Wipro, and that is what we are. It is our character, and it is reflected consistently in our behavior as well. Um, we are truly inspired by these spirits, as it is coming directly from our chairman, Mr. Premji. Uh, the 4 parameters of this are very clear, and this is what we showcase whenever we are interacting with anyone within the business or outside of the business, irrespective of the position, the engagement that we have with our partners. I'll just read it out, for everyone else, and this is so passionate and gets into the heart as well. Every time I talk about it. Uh, we are really passionate about when it comes to our client success. We believe, the client success is our success end of the day, and that is what we are here for. Um, Treating each person with utmost respect, and that is what boils down when it comes to, serving our clients. We are global, and we shown enough responsibility when it comes to delivering any kind of services to our clients. And on top of it, it's an unyielding, integrity in everything that we do. The spirit is beacon, and it is what gives us direction and a clear sense of, direction that whatever that we do of. Going to the next part, and this is what Wipro is into, and when it comes to the sustainability part of it, sustainability at Wipro is all about, being a good citizen. And this is not really restricted to India, it is all global, all across. Wipro definitely believes, whatever that we do, we should, definitely, it should make some kind of an impact, and it should be, equitable and create a human and sustainable society that we live in. Few of the things, that these are mentioned over here. There are 4 pillars that we work upon. It's on the biodiversity, water, energy, and now mobility that we are talking about over here. Few of the awards that you can see on the left-hand side of the slide out here. So these are the consecutive awards. For the best company to work for, the best the Dow Jones Sustainability Index. That we are the winners of that for the 8th times in a row, completely. And the other, the award, excellence awards in the HR, the employee engagements and things like that. Coming on the mobility part of it, so, as it is rightly said, it's 30% of the transportation industry is 30% contributes to the CO2 emissions in India. And it is the fastest growing the sector as well. And thanks to government, for the last 7-8 years, building good amount of roads, highways, connecting cities, and making a good amount of development within the cities as well. And the kind of OEMs that are, driving this particular industry, be it logistics and, the kind of uh, logistics industries that we have, the online um, platforms for sales purchase like Amazon, Flipkart, and things like that. The last mile connectivity, becomes very large. At Wipro, we transport almost 65,000 odd employees per day. And that's a figure that we are talking about. And we do it, day in, day out. And I manage that particular piece as well. That it happens, while it is a government direction that we need to provide the home, office, pickup, drops during the night window. Uh, we were doing this activity, 24/7, 4 years ago, across all the locations, and the numbers were quite large. And it went beyond 90,000 employees, that we were transporting them. 4 years back, we took a decision that we will do away with the daytime transport because we felt, government has done enough for the commute perspective during the daytime. They have enough infrastructure available. The metro has come in, and we are, our campuses are located in such a strategic locations that we could avoid that. And hence, we were probably the first ones in that taking up that particular step to remove the daytime transport across pan-India, one shot. That was, one of the first initiatives. There was a pushback, of course, because employees felt it's a luxury. And but then our intentions were very clear. We are here to give back to the society. We are here, to create a better future for the next generations to come. And that was the first large step that we took about. We know there was a good amount of, disengagement with the employees, but then we made it happen. It took us, yes, another 3 years to take another step when we saw what is coming up next for us. And that was, electric mobility. That is where, when we pitched in, we signed up a pledge with the climate group along with WBCSD to become one of the first three members of EV100 in India. So, and we pledged, to move 30% of our vehicles fleet within the next 3 years. And then by 2030, we should be going global conversion of all the electric fleet for our employee commute services. What we actually did in last 3 years when we saw this case coming up, there was a good amount of news that it came in. People were talking about, the fuel abrasions. People were discussing about how the future will look like, and there were a good amount of issues that we were actually facing with respect to the conventional vendors that we were targeting with. So, coming up on the part of electric mobility, there was a good amount of noise within the group itself. People were not very comfortable using this, and someone rightly said, what about the spare parts? What about, the commute perspective? What about, the stability and, actual product, coming onto it? We started and we failed. And yes, you heard it right. We started that activity 2 years ago, and there was only one product with us, Mahindra E2O, and E2O Plus rather. Although it was a four-seater, but then we started, and within 2 months of time frame, we never got the drivers who could drive that. We never got any great feedback regarding the vehicle that we are working upon, and we were taken aback. We said, it's not going to work like this. So, and that was a time while we were discussing within ourselves, but then we did a great insights and the industry connect, where we got to know that this is definitely the future, and this is going to help us in a long way. And we did some internal calculations as well. Given the fact, had it been actual four-seater car, we would have been going gaga about it. And there came the e-Verito. And that was a time, we were not looking at vendors, to work for us. We were looking at, a partner who can give us a complete big bag solution around this. And there came, the partner called Lithium, and who provided us a good amount of infrastructure, the charging infrastructure, uh, coupled with the Mahindra vehicles and the technology that was required to run these vehicles. We are a technology company by ourselves, and we already were using some kind of a application for routing for our employees, and we got it, integrated all along. That was a time we uh, we actually got into the complete solutioning of it, whereby only the rosters were required and nothing else, and everything was taken care of by this particular vehicle. Uh, Air conditioning, it came as an incentive to us in this particular vehicle. We have been successfully running these vehicles for almost a year now, in fact, a little more than a year, at our Hyderabad location. And we have recently ramped up at our Bangalore and Gurgaon offices. So the total up is 100 as I speak here. Uh, and we do have, commitments, coming up, growing further on this particular account as well. So our internal assessments in terms of the electric mobility, we had always three levers to talk about. The safety and security of our employees, number one, which is the paramount for us, and we never let it go down in any case, and this is what we are proud of. Um, when it comes to the infrastructure, when it comes to the commute or anything else, even at the workplace. Um, the second was the transparency in operations. Uh, and the third, which is the biggest thing, was on the employee experience part of it, because we feel our employees are our assets, and end of the day, they are the one who have built this large global organization for us. On the safety and security aspect of it, given uh, what was offered by Lithium was a vehicle which was stable enough and can give us a good amount of kilometer run that we were looking at. The charging stations were put, the numbers were such that they were able to rotate the vehicle in the best possible manner. Um, and again, AC, as I said, air conditioned work came as an incentive, but then, keeping that apart, the ride was as smooth as possible. And I'm happy to, let you all know about this. A year and 2 months now, not even a single, breakdown on this particular vehicle for us. The campus location that we work out of, people from Hyderabad, they would know it as a place called Gopanpalli. The roads out there are not that great, but then still, our commute has been as smooth as it. Um, there were good amount of challenges, but then I'll talk about that later. But then, yeah, in terms of the ride, in terms of the charging ability, and you should be happy to know that we are running almost 275 to 290 kilometers per hour per car per day. And this is on a 24/7 basis. On the, sorry, yeah, on this employee experience part of it, so we took a one-on-one feedback from the employees who got commuted onto this particular vehicle. Um, and we took this feedback when it was raining heavily in Hyderabad. Hyderabad is a peculiar city where you'll get to see all kind of, so-called nuances. And it has been happening all across. Uh, the rains coupled with the huge rush within the cities as well. And then you have a month-long Ramzan. Then you have, drivers unavailability at most of the times during the night times and early mornings. Some laid-back attitude within the supervisors who are handling the operations. But then, the employee experience was at its paramount, and they were like really, really happy about this kind of a vehicle being introduced, forget about the sustainability drive that we were doing separately on, apart from, on top of this. So on the transparency in operations, obviously, because these vehicles are on a long-term lease with our service partner, Lithium, these are, available to us 24/7, and we don't have any restrictions of putting up any kilometers or so. We use them as and when. The best part about the overall solution was the charging plan. The charge plan for these vehicles. The routes were provided to these particular vehicles as and when they are charged, and the balance were used in ICE. There was a pushback from the ICE service providers, why you are cutting down our business, but then we were very, we put our foot down, and that's the way it is, and this is going to be a future. So we have, taken some strong steps under this umbrella of our sustainability initiatives, and we have come a really, really long way, and we actually look forward, to making this much as a multiplier from here on. So that's the pilot, that we are talking about. So the challenges that I left earlier. So a few of the challenges. Yes, it's the drivers who were actually killing this particular initiative of ours. So we never wanted to, talk to people who will, a company who will give me just the drivers, a company who will give me just the vehicle, and another company who will give me the charging station and the technology. So it was a one-box solution, coming in from our service providers, and we ensured, the deliveries from day one. The drivers were skilled enough. We had challenges, for the first few weeks, because they were supposed to be trained in terms of managing this particular fleet as per the charging stuff, and also, taking care of the employee safety and security. On the auto gear shift part of it, that is where, the skill sets are largely required. As a legacy perspective, any of the drivers who are working for any taxi aggregators, they never used an auto shift. And whoever was using it, they were in a premium segment. So to make people drive these vehicles was again an incentive for them. They were trained for first couple of weeks before they got into the action. And today we have a trained fleet of drivers with us, a backup to a backup. We work on an N-2 in case anyone is not coming to office for a particular day. So those were few of the challenges that we faced upon. The first and the biggest challenge was the infrastructure. So we took a call to put up an infrastructure within our campus locations. We have pretty large campus locations pan-India, and the Hyderabad location, it was the campus is around 60 odd acres, and putting up 5 charging stations was not a big deal for us. So we took the initiative to putting up the charging infrastructure on our own and get this thing going. So that's about it. The numbers are in front of you as of now. So each car is now equipped with 2 drivers, and the technology is equipped enough to allocate, the driver, the car, as per the requirement on a 24/7 basis. Our journey in e-mobility, that is what we have committed to the climate group along with the WBCSD part of it. As I speak, we have 100 vehicles flying in Wipro right now, and this is the commitments in the next 4 to 6 months and the next 2 years that we are talking of. We have pledged, to go 100% on electric by 2030. I know it's a pretty long duration from now, but then we will not stop even if, any subsidies or incentives are being announced. We will do our bit from here on. That's the impact that we are talking about. Few figures. It's And this is what we are going to do for our next of the generations to come. Uh, and thank God until now I'm not coughing right moment, as Rajiv said earlier. Um, uh, we have a 20-year gap. So, but then things are bad. The climate changes definitely pushes us to do our bit back to the society, and we will continue to do that as a Wipro, as an individual, and the issues that we see all across around us. I finish off this particular presentation. I was planning to talk about more on this particular subject, but then it's all about getting together. It's all about the partnership on this particular aspect of it, and this is with the belief that yes, this will make an impact irrespective of whatever it comes on to be. We are doing our bit. Definitely, as a Wiproite, I am fully onto this particular initiative, and we will ramp it up, much faster than we could do. Uh, and I hereby request all of you to come together and, to create a better future for all of us. Thank you so much.